What's up, everybody? Bearded Griller. Decided we're going to try and make some lox today. I don't have cold smoking quite down just yet, so we're not going to do any Anova lox, just plain old lox. If you ever tried this on your bagel in the mornings, both my kids, myself included, absolutely love it. After looking into it, it's actually a lot simpler than you think. You're going to work with a ratio of 2 to 1 salt. So I've got 1 cup of golden brown sugar here. And the sugar doesn't play that much of a part. It's more of the salt that does the curing. This just kind of helps counteract the salt so it doesn't taste like you're mowing down on a block of salt. And I've got about 2.5 teaspoons of fresh crushed black pepper. And you can add dill or other stuff like that, and then that makes it a grav lox instead. But we're just going to go with plain old simple lox today. I got the fattiest 2-pound fillet I could find at the market, chopped it in half. I'm going to take this stuff right here, I'm going to mix it up, and then we're going to put it in a pan that'll hold juice, because it's going to leak. You know, this salt's going to draw out quite a bit of fish juice, for lack of a more proper term. And it's going to take about 2 days. We'll put something on top of it, weigh it down. It's a pretty simple process. But just kind of get your salt, your pepper, your sugar all incorporated good, just like that. I don't know if you guys can see that good or not. It's not like I'm doing rocket science here. This is pretty easy. So we'll take that. And I've got an old toaster oven pan that I use quite a bit. But it's got a little insert in here that fits perfectly right inside. So what I'll do is I'm going to take some plastic. I'm not going to tear it just yet. What I'm going to do, try and keep this to where I can work with this fish just a little bit more. So we're going to take the salmon cure mixture here. We're going to lay down just enough that you can't see through it. You don't want it like overly thick, but just enough to cover up the saran wrap. Get it kind of like that. And we're going to start with the skin side down. More. Alright. And I'm going to go with the bigger and the wider piece first. Like I said, skin side down. I've already checked this for pin bones. You need to make sure you check yours for pin bones. If not the big a deal. Check it out later. And we'll be taking the skin off later too. So let's go ahead and get this. Like I said, you don't have to like bury it, but you basically just want to cover it to where you can't see it. It's nice and opaque. And feel free to, if you want to try grav lox, put some dill in here, something else, any other spices that you, or herbs, go ahead. I'm just going for the simple, just plain old lox. One of these days I'll get around to getting the cold smoking thing figured all the way out, and then we'll be doing some Anova lox. It's kind of confusing when you first start to read about it. So, and I'm going to be doing these face to face. So I've got nice good coverage on that one. This guy right here, I'm going to season him up just before I put it in. And I'm not going to worry about getting it like absolute, because I'm going to sandwich these things and I'm going to weigh them down. So you're going to get a nice coverage. Make sure that I save enough that I can cover the bottom. And it looks like I'm going to have just about the right amount for 2 pounds. And what's really important when we do this is that I either make sure that when I wrap it, I leave an end open, or we cut it so that way this juice has somewhere to go as it's weighed down. And I'll take some paper towels, wad them up, set this a little bit of an angle, try to keep it so that way you're actually drawing the juices out and actually curing the meat. That nice even coverage. Try to get this stuff spread out as equally as possible. Perfect. So vivo come the pantry there. Put them on top. I'm going to throw this in the fridge for a couple days, and I'll see you then. Morning, everybody. Pretty griller. I know I said 2 days for the lox, but 2 days it wasn't quite the way I wanted it, and it's been 4 days. Pretty much all the recipes that I found online were for between 2 to 5 days, so feels like about the right consistency that I want. Looks good, smells good. Weighted it down with a 12-pack beer in the fridge. So let's get it rinsed off, slice it up. Got some traditional toppings here: tomato, cucumber, red onion. I don't really care for capers, so we don't have any of those today. Let's get to it. Got our fish, nice and rinsed off. Patted it dry. I don't quite have the right knife for this, so I've got my chef knife, and I've got my bread slicer, which is a little bit longer and flatter. It's serrated. I'm gonna try this one first. I've got them both nice and sharp. But for this, you're gonna want to basically take and cut, start about a third of the way from the tail, and just slide the knife along. And you want nice and thin pieces. You want to actually be able to see the knife through the fish. That's kind of how you know you're the right thickness. See how it just kind of flakes off like that. You're going to take your left hand, put it over there, and you're going to kind of cross underneath, just like that. And we're going to basically work it down to where we're whittling a little wedge off the end and continue all the way across here. And I believe they say that as long as you keep this cold and in your fridge taken care of, it's good for about a week. I can guarantee you that it will not make it that long in my household. This is both of my daughter's favorite thing for breakfast on a bagel. We go through a lot of lox around here. And when I tried it at 48 hours, it just didn't, it wasn't, you could tell it just wasn't quite cured yet. So I'm glad I decided to go the extra 48. I went ahead and made sure to put the pan on an angle and drain it and flip it every day so it wasn't just sitting in its own juices. It's pretty tasty stuff. I'm going to slice just a little bit more. We'll put together a bagel here. Have some breakfast. Alright. Got just a plain bagel. Feel free to use whatever kind your favorite is. The kiddos just like plain. Maybe use your air. The combination of the creamy cream cheese and the saltiness from the fish is just absolutely awesome. And I don't always have the other fixings. Usually in breakfast time for us it's just fish and bagel. But I figured, hey, I'm going to do something for you guys. I may as well make it look cool. First time we ever had this way was at the Bagel Deli in Denver. We took my oldest daughter to the aquarium, went swimming, did all that fun stuff at the hotel. And that next morning we got up and realized that there was a place just down the road that was on diners, drive-ins, and dives. So we figured, hey, we better check it out. And ever since then, she has been hooked. So, get a nice light layer of cream cheese. We'll take our lox, spread it out. Just a nice even layer. Okay. cucumber. Couple tomatoes. And you don't have to put all this stuff on here, and if you want to put more stuff on here, go ahead. Didn't quite get all the way through that one. Just a little bit of red onion. Give it some bite. We've assembled our bagel. Now it's time to eat. Pretty excited about this. It hits you right away. You get the saltiness from the fish, the creaminess from the cheese, a little bit of bite from that red onion, the tomatoes and the cucumber just kind of brighten everything up. You guys have got to try this. If not, you're definitely missing out. See you next time.